we'll be diving right into a pressing issue that hits close to home for many families: funding basic education. The question is it too big for local governments? Let's get right into it. Now, just yesterday, we saw a major development in this ongoing debate. After 3 months of strike action, primary school teachers in the Federal Capital Territory are set to return to classrooms thanks to the intervention of FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. This comes after prolonged negotiations over unpaid salaries and poor working conditions, highlighting the struggles many local governments face in funding education. So we're asking, can local governments realistically shoulder the burden of financing basic education alone? With schools across the country grappling with inadequate resources, should states or the federal government take on a larger role, or does local control still offer the best way to meet community needs? We want to hear from you parents, educators, policymakers, and concerned citizens. Has your community faced similar challenges? Should funding be centralized, or do you believe local leaders are best positioned to manage schools? Call us now on the numbers displayed on your screen so that we can hear from you. Send us a WhatsApp message on any of the numbers displayed on your screen, or a message on any of our social media handles. Make sure you send us a message and call us in. The question is still, do you think local governments funding education funding is too big for local governments? So a lot of local governments, or should I say local governments in Nigeria, have faced a lot of issues when it comes to funding. There have been inadequate funding and limited capacity when it comes to dealing with education. Local governments often struggle to generate sufficient revenue to meet the needs of primary education, leading to underfunding of schools and infrastructure. And that limited capacity in many local governments has the lack of administrative and technical capacity to effectively manage primary education as well, including resource allocation, teacher training, and school supervision. So there are a lot of children that are out of school. We have a high number of out of school children, and this large number of out of school children in Nigeria, particularly at the primary level, highlights the challenges that local governments do face in ensuring access to education. And when you look at it, you would have to look at revenue allocation. In subnational governments, including local governments, they face significant financing constraints due to the current revenue allocation formula. It has to come through the state or the federal government. But then arguments are there that instead of leaving local governments to take full responsibility in funding education or basic education in local governments, it is considered that the local government should have a constitutional role in primary education, and they should be supported to fulfill that particular responsibility. And it is said that there's a need for federal and state interventions because the federal and state governments need to play a greater role in supporting local governments to address the funding and capacity gaps in the primary education. And when you look at it, having limited funding is what really restricts a lot of local governments from doing what is necessary when it comes to basic education, when it comes to healthcare as well, and everything in between. All right, I believe we have our first caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Hauwa. This is Shettima.
Yes, good morning, Shettima. Thank you for joining us. What is your take on this?
Funding of basic education is too big for local government. It is not. It is not, honestly speaking, it is not. They can fund the basic education. The issue is the bounds that they are putting, their allocation is their budget. When it's their budget, they cannot get the bounds that are given. That is one issue. And the second issue is the local government chairman of nowadays, they don't have financial discipline. They make reckless spending. They divert funds to their own personal use. There is a lot of local governments that they cannot do anything except they sit down and divide the money among themselves. That is the fact. That's what is happening. But if at all, we will have a strong monitoring team and they will be asking for accountability, and these things will be verified. You see, coupled with the revenue that they are collecting, and the responsibility allocation that is going to them, we thank God now they say direct allocation. The allocation will not go through state government. It will go through the local government directly. And it is enough for them to found that education. We don't know. What we are seeing is a kind of wickedness. Why did I say so? Because you have enjoyed free education during your time, and you don't want the younger ones to enjoy. What are you doing? It is wicked mind. It's a wicked mind. So people should understand what's good for the good is also good for the gender. What you have enjoyed, you allow the younger ones to enjoy. Why is the free exercise book that our grandparents, they kept their text, they kept their desire, they serve us. So remember, when your exercise book is off, they will give you free exercise book. I think anybody or 50 years and above enjoy that one. Why are we denying the younger one now? It's wicked mind. So some of us, they have enjoyed free uniform. Why is that privilege today? They have kept it. All this money is yours. They are buying expensive stuff today. They are building mountains in Nigeria with a tall wall. Their houses look like a prison. All for them to protect themselves. Because the victims inside them are not doing the right thing. So they have to provide a maximum security for themselves. If at all what they are receiving will be used judicially across everybody to benefit, they will not have no fear. They have no fear. They will be living in the society freely. But deep inside them, they know that they are not sincere. So we hope and we believe things will be corrected in near future. If we are not ready to correct it, we are calling, we are sending our prayers to Almighty Allah to force them to correct it. Because the thing is going out of hand for us in the city. You go to some primary school, there is no grouping. But we thank God here in Borno State for having this our governor, Professor Hassan Taib, on the school. So,
all right, thank you very much, Shatima. I believe we lost the call, but then he made a point. He said no. Funding basic education for local governments by local governments is not too big for them due to the fact that they have allocations that are supposed to cater to those gaps. But then at the end of the day, he believes that there are mismanagement of funds when it comes to using it for what is actually meant for. All right, we have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
hello?
Yes, hello, good morning. Thank you for joining us. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning, this is Adi calling from London.
Good morning, Ade. Thank you for joining us this morning. What is your take on this issue?
Yeah, I think the local government did not have the capacity to fund education. And what should have happened is that the state should have that money from the money allocated to local government to have been deducted to give to state, so the state can manage the education system, both the primary and secondary school. That is the best way to do it. But asking local government to fund the primary education, secondary, that will be too much for them to do. In UK, we don't have state. All we have is local government and central government. So what central government do here is that they send the money to education ministry, Ministry of Education. In turn, the Ministry of Education now will now send money to local government to take care of the secondary school and the primary school, and they will monitor everything. But when it comes to university, the central government take care of that. That's what they do. So with that, it will be very easy. So that's what I advise our government to do. You understand what I'm saying? So if that is done, hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, so if that is done, then that will make it easier, because here now secondary school and primary school is free. You don't pay nothing at all. In primary school, if they are even offering them now free food for breakfast. So in the nursery and all this kindergarten. So because they discovered that some parents either they don't have enough time, or they don't have enough food to give to their child before they go to school, so they give them breakfast free. So both secondary and here and primary up to year 13, which is A level, is free. So until they go to university. And when they go to university, the government will still pay. The central government will pay. So once they graduated, they will pay back little by little for that university. But if they stop at A level, that's it. So, but Nigeria system is state government and local government. So they should give the money to state. So the state now should be monitored by Federal Ministry of Education to monitor them to make sure the teachers are paid, school are well funded, everything is okay. If you get to any secondary school, even primary, you will think you are in university because they are well funded. So that's what should happen, because education is the only thing we can give to our children. If you build 10 houses, they will not live there because everything is changing now every time. So education is very important. That's what we can give to our children, and we know we are giving them something. God bless Nigeria. Good morning.
All right, thank you, Ade, for your contribution. As Ade said, education is very important, and indeed it is. And he made a note that there should be a collaboration between the state government and the local government coming together and pulling funds together, making sure that each and everything is done accordingly and up to standard as well. All right, we have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. This is Abasekom calling from Gombe State.
All right, good morning, Abasekom. Thank you for joining us this morning. What is your take on this?
Sincerely speaking, all the callers, they have spoken well. I listened to Shetima and I listened to Ade, who spoke last. The best you can give to a child is education. Once you don't give them education, once you don't give your children education, you are treating criminals. And when I was in the service, the best thing I did at that time was to give my children education. Now, going to the point on ground, sincerely speaking, it is the local government that needs to take care of the basic primary institution. Where you find the state government coming to do that, they are failed. It is a colossal waste of time, waste of money. It is the prerogative of the local government to make sure the primary school is of a standard, because they are on ground, because they are in that locality, because they have the basic idea of what is on ground. And that is why we are lacking. That is why a lot of things are going wrong until we go back to the roots. And that was why this man from South Africa, he says we must go back to our roots. Until we go back to our roots, that reggae star, forgotten his name, Lucky Dube. Until we go back to our roots, if we don't go back to our roots, we will be failing. We must put the right peg in the right hole. My sister, if we are not doing the right thing, definitely we are bound to fail. A tree does not grow from a stretch. It started from segments, from one point to another. Nobody can make it without starting from the scratch. And I know I have almost 5 graduates. 2 are working and they are assisting. After I retired, they are assisting their brothers. We must train our children. If not, they will become Boko Haram. They will become kidnappers. They will come start troubling us. If you are not well and you are building skyscrapers, building different things, they will squander that money. Thank you this morning, Kiyawa. God bless you. God bless Trust TV. God bless Nigeria. And God bless all the callers.
All right, thank you very much, Abasinko, for your thoughts. As he said, it is very, very important to make sure that the children are educated. And he made note that the local government is also capable of taking care of basic education. They just have to make sure that all the funds go to the proper area. And there's a point that was made earlier as well that funds are being mismanaged and diverted as well, so that is why there aren't enough resources to make sure that these things are done properly. All right, we have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my name is Mohammed from Niger State.
All right, good morning, Mohammed. Thank you for calling us. What is your take on this issue?
Yes, my contribution here is about the Nigerian government on this, our younger ones. Honestly speaking, the way people are treating our younger ones is not the right way.
Please, can you turn off your television set so that we can hear you clearly? All right, Mohammed, if you're there, go ahead. I believe we lost our caller. Do well to call us back, but make sure that when you are calling us, you switch off your television so that you can put your point across and we can hear you clearly. All right, the question still stands. Basic education funding. Are local governments capable of taking care of that? All right, another caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, back again.
All right, thank you for calling back, Shatima. Let us hear you.
Thank you. I hear Ade was giving reference in the case of the United Kingdom. Here in Nigeria, right from the word go, basic education lies in the neck of the local government. And the pounds were provided for that. And I think the power that is budgeted is to take care of that sector. What we are talking about is high level of corruption that is eating that money. This is the money that budgeted for that purpose, and you take it to do another thing with it, which is absolutely wrong. That is what we are talking about. If there is a strict supervision, the pounds allocated is enough to maintain that basic education at the local government level. Because state government is handling secondary school education and tertiary education. If that primary burden to state government again, it will be a problem again. So the local government should maintain the status quo. They should be maintaining and handling the basic education. Because the pound is provided. As I said earlier, it was only the party to misuse the farm. That is why we all have these problems. As I said earlier, Why the money that we enjoy free exercise book as then is coming? What are they doing with it? They go to the private pockets of individuals. That's political office holders. So we should have to do something. They should still go and use that house division for the purpose they have been posted for. Thank you so much for listening.
All right, thank you very much, Shatima. He says that we have to prioritize what is necessary and what needs to be done. At the end of the day, if children are out of school, if educators are not provided for properly, they cannot cater to the needs of the children, they cannot do what they're meant to do and educate the children as well. Parents as well will not have their children properly go to school as well. When you have the education system, for example, infrastructurally, there are no classrooms that children can be in and learn. They have no books, no uniforms, no class desks, and other things that are needed when it comes to educating a person. All right, we have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning. All right, we lost the call. Make sure you call us back so that we can hear your thoughts. Call us on the numbers displayed on your screen or send us a WhatsApp message so that we can hear your thoughts on this particular issue, which is basic education funding. Is it too big for local governments? We want to hear from you, and your opinion does matter. So make sure you call us in so that we can hear your thoughts. All right, having the local governments make sure that they disperse all the allocations that they have been allocated properly into aspects and things that are meant to be done properly when it comes to education, when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to the environment as well, when it comes to registering people as well, births and deaths. That is the responsibility of a local government as well. All right, we have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning. We lost the call. Please do well to call us back because we are eager to hear your thoughts and opinions. All right, we have a couple of messages on WhatsApp messages on the WhatsApp as well. So do well to send us a message if you're unable to call so that we can read out your thoughts. All right, we have one from Usman Santaraki Beti from Jamaica, Yola. He says, good morning, Hauwa. My take on the issue of discussion is a straightforward one, and it is the local government that is funding the education at the basic level now in every state. In the federation, it is not the states that are funding the education at the basic level, as you're discussing the issue through the universal basic authorities. All right, next up we have another one. Well, as he said from Jimita, that it is the local government that are funding, and that is what they are supposed to do. That is what they're meant to do. They are meant to fund basic education in local governments. But a lot of people are saying that due to the fact that they might not be capable of making sure that all their ducks are in a row, that the state government should input as well, make sure that they collaborate in making sure that the basic education is successful and making sure that each and every aspect of education is taken care of. All right, we have another WhatsApp message. It says, good morning, my name is Pastor Evangelist Olutoyin Labi from Ilorin, Kwara State. He said public schools should be controlled by states and federal government. What are the works of UBEB and FBEB? All our political today went to public schools, including Minister of the FCT, the President, Vice President. He meant all our political leaders today went to public schools, including the Minister of the FCT, the President, Vice President, and so on. If it is this way public school is handling then what will happen to their life today if that was the way it was handled? So what would happen to their life today? And one more thing, public schools must be better and greater than private schools. Well, Pastor Evangelist, thank you so much for those thoughts. And as he said, public schools should be better than private schools due to the fact that the government is funding them, and they should make sure that schools are on the straight and narrow, making sure that each and every student and each and every educator gets what they deserve. We have another message from Ola from Kwara. He said, it's just a way of killing the hope of the common people. The burden will be on the neck of the parents by levying them gradually. That is from Ola from Kwara. And he said it is just a strategy of killing the common people. That is his thoughts. All right, do well to call us. The question still stands. Basic education funding, is it too big for federal government to tackle? Is it too big for local government to tackle? Is it too big for them to make sure that everything goes accordingly, to make sure that each and every aspect is taken care of when it comes to schools, or when it comes to classrooms, when it comes to those teachers that are there every day and their welfare as well? We have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Please do well to switch off your television set so that we can hear you clearly. All right, we lost that call. Make sure you call us back. But as I said earlier, make sure you switch off your television set so that we can hear you clearly, because we do not want to have more feedback while you're making a call. So make sure you call us back and switch off that television set so that we can hear your thoughts and opinions. All right, having the local governments, as we said, making sure that each and everything is in perspective when it comes to education, that is the key at this moment. All right, we have another message from Nandi Bete, and they says, serious governments all over the world invest in education, especially basic education. This should be the case too with us here. If Nigeria must get things right, for now, we are still toying with the future of this country. If we cannot provide functional basic education for the children, it's clear the burden is much on the local councils. Something urgently needs to be done. Well, as Nanti Bete said, something needs to be done on education, and a lot of people have said that a state of emergency needs to be declared on education when it comes to especially basic education, because that is the foundation of everything. All right, we have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. All right, we lost the call again. We have been losing a couple of calls, which would be crucial to your to the conversation and to your thoughts. Make sure you call us back so that we can hear your opinions on this particular issue. All right, in Nigeria, we know local governments are primarily responsible for basic education funding. They allocated funds to making sure that a lot of things are done in local governments. There are a couple of core functions that the local government has. But then before we get to that, let us hear from our caller. Hello, good morning. All right, we lost the call as well, but all right, we have another call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Thank you for joining us, and what is your name and where you're calling from?
I'm calling from Delhi, please.
All right, thank you for calling us. What are your thoughts on this issue?
Well, I only have small to chip in. In fact, funding schools by local government, I think it's not an easy thing. It may be easy, it may not be easy. All the problems we are having in Nigeria range on funding. If the federal government will give them enough money, then there will be no any cause for alarm. They can handle whatever because the terrain or the villages or whatever, they are the people that know them. You know, we have been most of us grown up. We enjoy the public school. Then I don't know what is wrong now with the state and then the federal government. The problem lies on the federal government. If they can fund the local governments properly, then the local government can equally handle whatever problem the public schools are facing. You know? So by maybe allowing them to do what is supposed to be done, then by giving them enough money, recruiting the teachers, then giving almost all of them what they're supposed to get. You know, I can't imagine in a public school whereby you may end up getting a teacher. You know, you don't even have a night school. You may be taken from far away distance, crossing more especially in the rainy season now, crossing rivers, you know, before coming to the school. Then you may end up just going home with that's the end of the month taking 20,000-30,000 as a take-home fee. At least it's unfair. It's unfair. So the federal government should consider maybe doing something. Not even giving them the money. They don't give them the money. But the problem we are having in this country is if you give the money without proper solution, then it's another thing again. It's another thing. You give them the money, they might equally not do the right thing that they're supposed to be, the children, whatever is good for the children or it's for the teachers too, they cannot even get them. Look at like this program of school feeding. It's a failure. It's a failure completely. So the federal government should allow the local government by employing and giving them enough money or whatsoever for them to at least handle the affairs or activities of the federal school. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for your contribution. Well, as he said that he made a point that the federal government should increase the local government's allocation so that they can dispense their duties sufficiently and properly. So now we know while local governments have a constitutional role in primary education, they often lack the resources and capacity to effectively manage and fund this level of education. A lot of people have made it a point to say that there needs to be a collaborative approach involving all levels of government along with private sector and community involvement is needed to address the challenges and ensure quality basic education for all Nigerian children. And we know that education is key. It is the basic foundation that every human being needs when it comes to living life in general and the future as well. All right, that is all we have for this segment. Make sure you stay with us for our next segment, where we'll be discussing the recent merger that has taken place in the political scene. So make sure you stay with us, and we'll be right back.